hero or villain. And as a kid, did you ever want to be this person? Well, look no further. Today you'll learn on Let Your Love Be Real Talk Show. I'm your host, Markia Butler, aka the 90s version of Storm. Today, we will have a very special guest named Sean, aka the legendary Super Saiyan Broly. He has an amazing story, and I hope that it will inspire you to do something that you love. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Let Your Love Be Real Talk Show. I'm sitting here with Sean, who is Broly today. He's an amazing cosplay player. Sean, please tell us more about just this amazing outfit.
Well, the whole thing is made out of EVA foam minus the clothes. From the boots to the gauntlets, the armor, and even the wig is all foam.
You've done everything for yourself, right?
Yes.
When did you start this process of becoming a cosplayer? Because this is absolutely amazing. The detail you put into it, like...
You know, the funny thing is I actually had no idea this existed. Like, I would talk to a lot of friends, and they would tell me, like, hey, you know, my dad used to watch The Flash with me, or Flash Gordon, or Star Trek, or like that. It's funny, my family is from a different place. They're from Belize. So growing up in the house of people from a third world country is kind of closed-minded. So I knew there were things like, you know, Dragon Ball from watching Tsunami, or waking up super hella early on Saturday mornings, the Saturday cartoons, waking up as a little kid at 6 o'clock in the morning to watch Dragon Ball. And so it always piqued my interest, caught my attention. It wasn't until like after high school, I believe, this was like 2004. You know, a woman I was dating at the time, she was really into anime. And she was like, hey, do you want to go to Anime Expo? And I was like, there is a convention for things like this. And she was like, yes. I was like, oh, okay. I caught my interest. So I went to Anime Expo for the first time in Anaheim, 2005. The first cosplayer I saw was a character from a series called Cowboy Bebop, a little girl named Ed. And because I just recently started watching Cowboy Bebop, I lost my shit. I was like, wow, there's a whole ass person just walking down the street looking like Ed. And it wasn't until I got to the convention, I saw Naruto, I saw Kakashi, I saw Mortal Kombat characters, I saw Crash Bandicoot, I saw Link. I was like, wow, this is real? It was like, you know, as a kid growing up, I liked Halloween. And I was like, I'm a grown ass man looking around like I could dress like this for the rest of my life. And so that's pretty much how I got into this. Like, it became very interesting to me. So it wasn't until the next year, which was 2006, I was like, I'm gonna do that. Like, I want to do that.
Okay, well, speaking of starting in 2006, what was your very first costume that you put together?
I was a big gamer growing up, and one of the most unique games to me as a child was Final Fantasy VII. That was actually a big game for its time. And there was a character named Zack. He was not as popular as, you know, the main character Cloud or the villain Sephiroth, but him and Cloud have a similar look, only, you know, Zack had black hair. So I kind of wanted to do something different, because I felt like if they are any Final Fantasy characters I run into, they're going to all be either Cloud or Sephiroth, which they were. I was the only Zack, so I was walking around with a huge 6-foot-long sword on my back, which I had no idea how to make things at the time. Mm-hmm. So unlike knowing stuff like this exists, which is foam that weighs nothing, I went to a construction site and used heavy ass wood. So I'm there with a 6-foot-long sword that weighs probably like 40 pounds, and people are looking at me like I'm Rock Lee with weighted clothes on, because there was one time me and my friend was, you know, trying to eat lunch, and there was this little spot on the second floor, and it was just a little stairway up, and I couldn't even fit through the stairway because my sword was too big, and because I was too heavy, I did not want to go up the stairs because I really felt like I was wearing like weights on me. So I'm like, everybody's like, y'all have fun, and I'll talk to y'all from down here. We'll yell. This hallway got a lot of echoing, and yeah, my first cosplay was Zack. I had no idea what I was doing. It was very hurtful.
Okay, so with all the experience and the knowledge you have now, what exactly, because you know, you come to a place where you may want to give up, but you don't. So how much time and effort have you put in now with the understanding that you have to study in order to do cosplay?
I'll go back to when I first started. Um, Back in those days, make me sound old. Back in those days, there was no YouTube. You know, nowadays you just go and just clicking like a, how do you make a, s- a spaceship out of foam for a cosplay, and there'll be people with tutorials on how to make a spaceship out of foam with foam. But back in those days, we didn't have that. It was you either know a guy that knows a guy that did a thing that might tell you or might not tell you, but it was with that idea that you saw it done, so you know it can be done. I use a lot of materials. I did paper mache. I did resins like Bondo and fiberglass. Experienced a lot of things before I discovered foam. What kept me going, the drive that I got from this, it became my peace. Like when I would craft, I would step outside of what happened to me today at work or my own personal problems. What, who out there owe me money, who try to dodge me, like it doesn't matter anymore because I had this idea to make something like, say for this, for example, and that's where your focus is at. And it's very rewarding to see any little progress you make, even if it's just a bracer. And just that little progress or getting to that point kind of kept me going for over 15 years.
That's wonderful. So can we kind of segue into fatherhood and being a cosplay character and how magical that is, where you're able to utilize the arts and the importance of being able to express yourself through the arts. So how has fatherhood been for you?
You know, truthfully, I think that this interest made me, I can't say a better father, but it damn sure made me a more interesting father, I guess. I don't try to push myself onto my kids. I tell people the same thing, I'm just myself around my kids. And if they see that I do something, I'm not saying I hope that they take it on also, but the most beautiful thing from that is they form an interest around. Like other than cosplay, I do watch things that fuels my cosplay. Like I play video games, I watch anime, and the more I watch it, my kids, I guess, you know, they all want to spend time with dad, so they'll sit down like, I want to watch this with you. It made me, I don't know if I could say it made me relate to them more, or they made me relate or the other way around. But because they form interest in something that I do that is very fun, it gives us a little bit something extra to bond off of. Because I have many memories, as my son is now 13, my daughter is now 9. I have many memories of my kids. They could be reading a book or reading a comic book, but they want to do that around me while I'm making something. It kind of, picture this. I guess when it comes to my kids and their upbringing and how they were raised with the excitement of, I guess, me doing this or they finding themselves through this, it's that same energy you get when you go to a movie theater and there's people around you feeding off that same energy that you're protruding because that movie or that character that you like is about to do something amazing and everybody's rooting at the same time. So when it comes to that creativity, I guess my kids get that same energy being around me and each other. So while I'm crafting, he is playing video games and she is painting, and together we're all like this circle of energy.
And have you ever dressed up for like birthdays for them, or you just allow someone else to do that?
Yeah, you know, I'll tell you, not a birthday, but one time, you know, I guess I wanted to when I did Santa Claus.
Okay.
I did Santa Claus, and because, you know, I live in the hood and we got no chimneys,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
I came through the window.
So you was Brumman from the 5th floor from so you just, okay.
I came through the window, and unlike those not the movies, the videos you see on TikTok or YouTube, the kids didn't scream. So I'm very proud that I didn't traumatize them.
I'm like Friday after next.
Exactly.
Okay, so could we go back to a bit more cosplay and share about commissions and how lucrative or non-lucrative that cosplay can be?
Um, I'll say like a good after my 50th year of cosplay, I kind of become more interested in making things for people because at a convention, San Diego Comic Con, somebody asked me, "Can I make them Iron Man from Iron Man 3?" And I looked, and I never thought about making things for others. And because I wanted to take on a different challenge, I said, "Okay, I'll do it." And so he was like, "I'll pay you like $2,000." Like, okay, I'll do it. Like I wasn't thinking about the money because the money is actually what we think about.
Yes.
But he was the one who threw it at me. I was like, okay, that's acceptable. Like, you want to throw that at me? I'm like, okay. I was like, when do you want this? Like, hey, you can make it like in 2 months. I was like, okay. So I found myself looking at a lot of photos from Iron Man 3. This is before the movie came out. I went to Barnes Nobles, bought the art book, looking through the photos, and I finished it in about a month and a half. So he had a good 2 weeks to wait before he needed. I guess it was for a show. I don't remember what it was because it's like 2010. I find myself the more I do commissions now that I'm older, I kind of lose interest because I feel like I'm doing things for others instead of myself. So at a certain point, the money is not something that's that appealing to you when it comes to not enjoying what you love doing. I would do things for friends sometimes. Like even right now, it's still commission, but the person I'm working for is a really close friend of mine. He wants a Dragon Ball armor also, and I don't mind because this is somebody who I know. This is somebody who I know personally, and to see that friend who you have a connection with enjoying it, loving it, skipping in it, and it kind of makes you feel like you change society in that way, I guess.
That was the next question. Like, what do your cosplaying? How do you make a difference with your cosplay? How can you impact the community and change the world through cosplay? Or have you done that already?
There's two different ways. I have a friend in Long Beach. He has I can't say, he has like a little charity. It's called Kids Can Cosplay Too. He would go to hospitals and visit children, and as a cosplayer or a friend of cosplayers, he would get the people who you know to go and brighten these kids' days. And it's a very good feeling, like seeing a kid laying down, not having the best day, and Spider-Man just busts through the door, and that kids just light up like that's the best thing that he or she have ever seen. With me, what I like to do is, other than that, I like to run marathons. Disney used to have a marathon every Halloween, raising money for children that you could run a marathon in a costume. So I would always take one of my costumes and run a marathon trying to raise money for kids. More for adults, I really like the idea of people coming into this. It kind of gives them ideas of possibilities, or not saying that you use, for cost, or just things that you could build around the house just to make your living space a little bit more artsy. I like to go to different conventions and teach at panels on how to handle foam, how to handle other materials that you can make things with. So I like to put, my past experiences and knowledge out there for, the upcoming cosplayers, or the upcoming, I'll say, to help out with the future, I guess.
Okay, so what advice would you give somebody who maybe is afraid to dress up and participate in cosplay? They're like, oh, that'd be so cool, that's dope, but nah, I'm good. Is there anything you would say directly to them?
A lot of people are afraid because they feel like they'll look foolish in the eyes of others. And I would say that's a very real thing. Even as a cosplayer of like almost 2 decades, sometimes I would wear something and feel insecure in it. That was like, how is someone going to receive me? But the best thing about that is once you're in your costume, it's like you're no longer you. Cosplay is pretty much the word plays inside of it. Cos is costume play. You're pretty much the character you're trying to become. The best thing about that is, since a lot of people do that, a lot of people feel that way. Once you in that crowd, go into a convention, go back to the feeling energy. Then you'll have people come up to you like, oh, you're like the most Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, or I don't know why I thought about Ghostbusters maybe because of Halloween, but you're the best Stay Puft, or that's the best proton pack ever. And it kind of makes you feel good. It's actually, you'll go into this feeling scared and you'll leave out of it with a confidence boost. That's the best thing. So your fear is valid because anybody will be afraid of going outside looking like Wonder Woman in a metal whatever.
So
but
do it anyway.
Yeah, because once you out there, you have people stop looking to want to take photos with you and saying that this is amazing. You'll have them telling you that they want to do it also. So now it's like the ripple effect because you did this, now you have somebody else wanting to do it.
Throughout your journey as a cosplayer, have there been any adversities, maybe personal adversities that you may have gone through?
When I first started cosplay, it was not a new thing, but it was not as mainstream as it is now. Now everything is accepted. People are accepted for sexuality, race, religion. All that was not saying it wasn't back then, but it wasn't as I guess popular. So as a black man in a community that is not really the most popular or sought after for other African Americans at the time, I would receive a lot of disapproval from my own people. And that was, believe me, that is more hurtful than getting that from a different race or a different culture. You have people who you would expect not to want you to not want you to be there in that space because of your race, because we are kind of, not saying we were raised, but I said we are conditioned to feel this way because a lot of people with melanin in the skin don't really have the best upbringing when it comes to other people without that in their skin. But the most hurtful thing is because in that time it was not mainstream and people did not accept these different things because at the time it was something very different. Times have changed so much. And truthfully now, thankfully, because this is more popular, this is something a lot of people do, there's a huge community of not just African Americans, but POC. You have Asians, Latinos, Native Americans, you have blacks, you have all everybody getting together who was not really in this before because now it's like this is okay. It's okay to not think that this is weird, or it's okay not to feel like, you know, you should not enjoy doing something that's different.
Mm-hmm.
It's more acceptable now, and I've seen a lot of growth in many, many years. And I'll say, yeah, I had my share of that adversity in this.
And you wouldn't be as great as you are without some of that because of your perseverance and tenacity. And so, is there a thing as taking it too far when you're being a cosplayer? Is that a thing?
As for actions, like say one of the most outrageous characters out there is Deadpool. There are a lot of people who wants to joke around with him, random jokes, have gags, have puns, or whatever, and that's actually just spilling into the character. Will you be annoying? You will be fucking annoying, yes. But even though you are annoying, people actually will appreciate that. Just let me appreciate that with you being over there. But one thing that people do take too far is they actually will change their skin color to fit a character more accurately. What I believe is no matter what race you are, Broly is not black. But when I'm wearing this, I'm Broly. I'm not going to put makeup on my skin to look more Asian. There are characters out there that are darker. There are characters out there. Okay, so for example, it will be very, very weird, and I'm not saying this has been done before, but things like this have been done before. If there was a Caucasian cosplayer that wants to cosplay as T'Challa and actually paint himself to look African American, in today's society, because of the culture, the sense of culture of America, that's considered as blackface. Things like that have been done in the cosplay community. And not saying I do this purposely. I'm not saying at all that the people who did this thought that they were blackface and doing it purpose to tease us or to make fun of us. But that is something offensive that people have done accidentally. I would not like to think that they did it purposely. But things like that is taking it a little bit too far.
Okay, so with that being said, I wanted to kind of switch gears a little bit and talk about a dream Avenger. Something that you maybe haven't done yet and you're like, I have to do that character. Or maybe you have done it. Could you please share that with us?
I'll tell you this right now. My biggest dream, I want to cosplay as Goliath from Gargoyles, from the 1994 Gargoyles Disney series. I want to look into a camera and do my best Keith David voice, like 1,000 years ago, superstition and sword rule. Now I would feel badass.
Okay.
Like I would be amazing. I'll go hit the gym every day just to get my pectorals to move. I would like to be Goliath. That's my dream cosplay. Like, I'll even wait on a weight loss journey to fit that dream one day, and I'm not there yet because I refuse to wear a bodysuit. I want it to just be paint on my skin to actually feel like a gargoyle. Um, that's what I'm aiming for. And even in 5 years from now, I'm going to hit that dream eventually.
Following your passion can take you places that you would not ever imagine going. So where have you gone through cosplay?
I went to different states. First, California. Even though I'm from California, Los Angeles, I've never been up north. I have never been up North California. I've never been to San Francisco. I actually went to conventions in San Francisco to actually judge the masquerade panel costume competition at the convention. Um, Not too far, but San Diego. I was doing panels in San Diego. Now, out of state, I was doing panels in Emerald City Comic Con in Seattle. I went to Savannah Comic Con. I went to New York Comic Con. I went to a lot of Comic Con in different states.
Sounds like all over
It
the
takes
state,
you. It takes you
all over the
places.
country.
It takes you places, and because you're connecting with people, it's like you're advertising yourself, and they want you. Like they want you in their space.
No, that's beautiful. I do want to ask, you talked about connecting with people. So the power of art and being involved with others, like how has that like groomed you? How has that like impacted your life? Being able to make a difference in that way. Well, just you all go to this convention together, you all are like-minded individuals. Like, what does that feel like? What is that about?
It feels like Christmas. You get that excitement. At the time, I thought that something like this could only be like once a year. Connect with people who has your unique taste in not just art, but video games, anime, comic books. It is actually like Christmas.
Have you built any lifelong friendships?
Um, there's the longest friend I have in this I've known for, I would say 12 years. And 12 years, even in just a regular friendship, is a long time. Because, people get mad at you after like 1 year and they're sick of you. But I've known this person for like 12 years, and I was just at his birthday party at the time. You meet the most coolest, chill people down to earth. And because you know each other so long, the same thing else, you watch them grow, you watch them build families, you watch them stop doing this now. They have a family, and now it's like you are exchanging stories like of how things were, and it's beautiful because you have this person that's in your life who's probably going to remain in your life because you connect in this way.
Okay, so is there anyone that you want to shout out to at this point, and where can we find you, Sean? Like, this has been an absolutely amazing interview with you, and you just look absolutely amazing, and you're super talented, just so we can tell you that right now on television. Okay. Like, you look absolutely amazing. Who would you shout out?
Well, of course, I got 2 kids, Jaden and Jolie. I call them my little flubbies. I have no idea why I call them flubby. I don't know what a flubby is. It's not a furry thing from the 90s.
I think so. Maybe flubber, flurries.
But they're my flubbies. My 2 flubbies. I love y'all. Stay in school, stay out of drugs. The DARE program is dead, but you better not do shit. And of course, my girlfriend. She is very supportive. One of the reasons that keeps me doing this. Her name is Katrina Jones.
Katrina.
She's awesome. I love you.
So sweet. And where can we find you, Sean?
You can find me. I'm more on Instagram. My last name is Shaw, so I use the name Shawshank because that's also an amazing movie. So Shawshank period props is the best way you can find me.
And make sure you guys go to his Instagram because there is so many costumes on there. He does his thing. So congratulations to you, and we look forward to seeing you more doing your cosplay. And all the cosplay players, you guys are absolutely amazing, super talented. Please keep it up. And thank you so much on Let Your Love Be Real Talk Show. That was definitely a fun episode. Sean has shown us that it is important to build your self-confidence, make your mental health a priority, and most of all, do something that you love. And speaking of mental health, not only is October the month of Halloween, it's also National Mental Health Screening Month. So remember to always check in with yourself. Make sure you're good. Whether human, Saiyan, or mutant, you gotta make sure your power levels are high. Don't forget to follow Sean on Instagram at shawshank.props to see more of his amazing cosplays and to even get a commission made if you'd like to try it for yourself. Also, have a fun and safe Halloween. And before we go, was Broly actually the most naturally powerful Super Saiyan? And who will appear on the show next? find out on the next episode of Let Your Love Be Real Talk Show. I'm your host, Markia Butler, and we are loving all of your support of Let Your Love Be Real Talk Show. Thank you. Remember, love is the breath you breathe. So, let your love